This is Sunil Sunder Raj with the Oradell Sports Round-Up. Today, I'm happy to be speaking with Bella Molina, a senior at River Dell High School, a catcher on the Golden Hawks varsity softball team, and recently committed to Georgian Court University in Lakewood, New Jersey. Bella, once again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Congrats on your success on and off the
You.
field.
Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. All right, Bella, let's talk about Georgian Court University. What made it the perfect fit for you?
It was the perfect fit for me because it was close to my house. So like having my parents' support just coming down to games when it's only an hour and 30 minutes away, maybe 2 hours with traffic, that was like a big thing to have. And also like it's a beautiful facility. Like I toured the whole entire campus. It's a beautiful campus. They're gonna have like a bunch of remodeling done from what I heard from when I was touring the campus. And it's very local, and that's what I really like about it. And especially when it came down to like the school and like getting to when it comes down to academics and also like being an athlete, like they really do support you, like the coach and the team, like everybody supports you there, which I really liked, and it's very much a family atmosphere.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was taking a look at the website and the facilities. I mean, the pictures are just amazing. The setback in terms of the softball field. Just you have trees, you have nature around it, and then plus. I think it's SEI Investments Field, and then plus the wellness center there. I think it's a
Yeah.
67,000 square foot wellness center. So I'm sure that was very appealing as well in terms of like with the training as well, Bella.
Yeah, it was very nice. Like I walked into the wellness center. It's like it has all these like nice like glass windows. It was beautiful. There was sunlight
Yeah,
peeking through. I was like, wow. Like I was like very impressed. And
yeah.
like so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. Okay, let's talk about the coaching staff. Head coach Nicole Degenhart, assistant coaches Nikki Philpott and Kristen Selby, and pitching coach Jackie Sasko. Just talk about communicating with Coach Degenhart, just in terms of that interaction, and just here as you get prepared to join. Said the university. Said down the road here.
Yeah, when it came down to like reaching out to her and everything, it was like she's a very easy lady to talk to. Like it was very nice. Like I would go to all like these showcase camps, and I would be like the first one. I would like beeline straight to her. I'd be like, "Hey
Yeah.
coach," like, you know.
Yeah.
And so when I first got to speaking with her, it was like, "Hi, my name's Bella," it was like getting like all like the little kinks out, just basically
Yeah.
telling her my name, where I'm from, my school and everything, just introducing myself. And then from there she was just like, oh yeah, just like email me. So I kept on emailing her.
Yeah.
Just like staying in touch, just so like she knew my name, she knew my face. I went to a bunch of her camps. and and from there, like the last camp that I went to, she was just like, well, what's your next step with us, because we would love to have you. And I was like, that's amazing. Like
Yeah.
I loved interacting with her. She's a very great lady. She's everything she does is about her girls. She wanted to make sure that everybody that's on her team meshes well together. Like she
Mhm.
makes sure that it's just very much a family atmosphere, and I couldn't have like found any better of a coach for me, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's wonderful to hear. Okay, this is a team that has been a juggernaut. I think the last 2 years here in terms of their record. I think what is it, 78 and 21 and 46 and 4 in the Central Athletic Collegiate Conference. They won their first championship in 2021, the first since 2009, excuse me. So definitely a team that is on the rise. And in terms of talent level, and you can see this is a team that is, definitely going to be vying for championships, as said, for a long time to come. I'm sure that
Yeah.
that really definitely enticed you as well to, go into a winning program like that as well, Bella.
Yeah. When I went there and I sat down with her and I was in her office and I was looking at all of her trophies, just like
Mm.
starstruck by everything.
Yeah.
She was like, she she was basically saying like, she was like, I don't want to be the best of the worst 12. She's like, I want to be the best of the best. I want girls that can compete with me and can compete on our level.
Yeah.
And it's very much a competitive atmosphere there, which I really like, because I really do like to push myself and I do like to challenge myself. So
Hmm.
being on a team where the girls are only going to push you forward, like,
Yeah.
that's the greatest feeling for me to have, knowing that I have teammates who are going to challenge me every day, and I'm going to have a coach who's going to be by my side and who's going to be making sure that I'm working to get to my goals.
Yeah.
Was even better. Like, I
Yeah.
walked into her office and she had a big 54 because she's all in. So she wants to get 54 wins this season. So she had like a big 54, and that's the first thing that you see when you walk in her office. And I love that because it's like you're getting your goals, and
Yeah.
we're gonna keep pushing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think setting those high expectations, but again, meeting them as well. That's great to see because again, you want to build a championship team and have that culture and environment as well. I think that's so essential in terms of for a program. Okay, let's pivot, Bella, to the River Dell said Golden Hawks varsity softball team. Said coming off which was an up and down season, but still when you look at this season, there are a lot of positives to reflect back on. A very special senior class. You were named to the Big North Conference Patriot Division first team along with teammate Gabi DeGroat. Just talk about here your junior season, what in terms of having that success. You definitely, the numbers spiked as well. It looked like you really made that turn in terms of said moving up the ladder here. But just talk about what it meant to play for the team this in 2022.
It really did mean a lot to me playing in 2022 with all of our seniors, because it, like, being with them, I was with them last year. I was with them like the year prior. Ever since like my freshman year, I was with all of them. So
Yeah.
seeing them and being there for like their senior day, it was it was hard for me to say goodbye to all of them because I loved all of them, especially like I loved every single one of them. Milena, Liz, Sophia, Apple,
Yeah.
like all of them. It felt like a piece of my family was like leaving, which was very hard for me to see. But from that, ever since the first day, we were like, we're gonna make this a special season. We're gonna have fun every day, and that's exactly what we did. Whether it
Yeah.
came down to games, practices, that's what we did.
And I don't want to forget, I don't want to slight Sophia because she was also named, I believe, the second team, said Big North Conference Patriot Division. So, yeah, as you mentioned, just, again, incredible senior class. But I had to ask you, especially about Gabi DeGroat. I mean, Gabi just was phenomenal just on the mound and at the plate. Just to see that, you're a catcher. I mean, the fact that, being able to catch her games, what did it, just from your perspective, what did that, just involve, and just what did that mean to you as well?
It meant a lot because Gabby's insane. I will say that out. I wish nothing but the best for Gabby. I love her so much. Being able to work with her, and I've been catching for her ever since we were little. Ever since I put on my catcher's gear, I've been catching for Gabby.
Yeah.
So being able to be out there on that varsity field with her, it means a lot, and I don't take any of that time for granted. And when she's catching, when I'm catching and she's pitching, it's just like we just mesh very well together, which I really like. She's a very hard worker, and she does get down on herself sometimes. So I got to be like, Gabs, like, it's okay. Like, everybody's
Yeah.
gonna have those days, but I never take any of that time for granted because I've been doing it for so long. I don't want the time. I don't want the sand to run out of the hourglass.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to happen, but
Yeah.
I really do. And she's an amazing pitcher too, and she works very hard up there, and you can tell just by
Yeah.
her work ethic. And even when it comes up to plate, when she comes up to the plate, oh my God, it's just like
Yeah.
everybody's like out of their chairs, like just watching, because
Yeah.
confidence she exudes, whether she's on the mound or at the plate, is amazing.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, just in terms of her work ethic, her determination, and the fact that with one swing of the bat at the plate, she can change the outcome of a game, and that's really that's what you want in your team, is those, again, people can really make a immediate contribution. And let's just talk about you at the plate before we get to the catching position. If these numbers are correct, hit 349, 518 slugging percentage, 19 runs scored, 28 hits, 8 doubles, 10 walks, 18 RBIs, all again, solid numbers. Talk about, not to discount where you came from in 2021 in terms of the numbers you put up, but just talk about heading into the 2022 season in terms of on the individual basis, in terms of strength and conditioning, nutrition. I mean, just a bunch of mitigating factors, what you did, that you wanted to improve on, said this season, Bella.
Yeah, when I came into this season, I feel like I was very hard on myself in the beginning, especially because from last year, I was like, you know what, I do want to boost my numbers. Like I'm a junior, like soon I'm gonna be like leading, hopefully I'm gonna be leading this team. So like for me going into the 2022 season, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get stronger. Like everything that I did, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna start going to the gym, because I just wanted to just be a solid player all around. And so when it did come to hitting, I did fall into a little bit of a slump. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would go up to the plate anxious sometimes and be like, I need to get a hit. I need to get a hit. And then I wouldn't get a good hit, or it would be like contact, but be like a little grounder. But as the season went on, and I was just like, you know what? Just let go. Just have fun. Just be nice and relaxed. I mean, I was having fun given the team that I had. We did have a lot of fun. I was like, you know what? I just need to give myself a break. And once I decided, and once that little mental thing clicked, it was like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, wow. Those would be I just I'm a very mental person. So everything that happens to me up at the plate, or whether I'm behind the mount, whether I'm behind the plate, it's everything's mental. It's like, just stay nice and relaxed. Like I know what I have to do. It's just that up here, that's the defining feature for me.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you, because everybody focusing on the physical aspect of sports, and especially, even with softball. But I think the mental approach is so, again, key. It's just so critical in terms of if you're not in tune, if you're not sharp, and, it could really throw you off your game. Hey, I'm wondering, when you're up at the plate, you're locked in, facing that opposing pitcher. I'm wondering what's transpiring through your mind. What are you feeling at that time when you're up at the plate?
Well, when I'm up at the plate, I kind of just go there being like, you know what, base hit. If you get on base, you're fine. Because strikeouts, as my club coach will say, helps nobody. So just get on base, get the ball in play, get those girls moving. Whatever you can do to be a team player up at bat, just get the ball in play. Whatever you have to do, whether it's choking up on the bat, whether it's, I don't know, swinging at pitches in the dirt, but at least if they're rolling down the line, that's all that matters.
No, that's true. Okay. On the flip side, being a catcher, it's one of the most important positions on the field. So talk about, in terms of communicating with your pitchers. We talked about with Gabi, but even the rest of the pitching staff, with with head coach Brian Calvary. So just talk about, what is it about that position in terms of, even before the start of the game, getting yourself prepared, to be behind the plate. Just talk about that as well, Gabi.
Well, when I'm catching, I hear everything that he has to say, everything that Gabi has to say. So I'm kind of almost like the mediator between both of them. So when I'm catching, if I'm doing something, or if I'm not making sure that I'm getting my thumb up under the ball, every now and then, he'll tell me. So, and I'm like, I know I have to do that. And then sometimes I'll get frustrated, and he does see it, because we're both very passionate people when it comes down to softball, and when it comes down to coaching, when it comes down to playing. So sometimes there's a disconnect there, because we both we're both very in the game.
Yeah.
But, I've learned to just trust myself back there. And so once I start doing that, it's, once again, very mental person. So once I start doing that, everything just clicks. And, working with Gabi does see when I do have my off days, and she tells me, she's like, Bella, it's okay. She's like, you don't need to be frustrated. Everything's gonna be fine. You're okay. And same with him. I've gone to him after a couple of games where I feel like I didn't play my best, and he's calmed me down, basically reassuring me that, that everything's going to be fine. So having that very good close connection with both of them really does help me throughout the games, and did help me throughout the season a lot.
Yeah, ultimately, you want to be on the same page, and obviously that again, the results, have panned out, I said very nicely. And this is again an impressive core and nucleus that is returning, along with you, Gabby, Grace Basil, Samantha Campos, Aaron Brady, said Casey Ziegler, Helena Marcus, Isabel Worthington, Isabella Hernandez. You're adding new freshmen going to be to the mix as well. So this is a team that is definitely built for the 2023 season. I'm wondering, like, just when you see that type of roster assembled, for next year, there's a lot of potential in terms of not only just having a winning record, but going, far in terms of the state playoffs as well.
Yeah. Especially with us all returning as seniors now,
Yeah.
I feel like, especially for like me and Gabby, like we're just going in just being like, you know what, we're gonna have a fun season. Everything that we're gonna do it to the max. Like everything. Like I know Grace is gonna go up there to the plate like she normally does. She's gonna be hitting doubles all season long. I know Sam's gonna be out in the outfield catching every ball that's coming to her.
Yeah.
I know Casey's gonna make every play at wherever she is, second base, shortstop. We have the defense. Like everybody can contribute so well. It's just a matter of what it's gonna come down to mentally during games, like especially that.
Yeah. I mean, there were 2 4-game winning streaks during the season. Of course, injuries, popped up. Gabby went out. That was said that really hurt quite a bit. But again, there was a lot to, plus he still reached the state playoffs. So there's definitely, again, to build off that, for the 2023 season, Bella.
Yeah. Yeah, those injuries were very like, at the time it kind of felt like, oh God, like what are we gonna do? Like we don't have our pitcher, we don't have our center fielder. Like, is somebody else gonna go down too? Like we really didn't know.
Yeah.
And so it was very like one of those things. But I felt like after that happened, everybody as a team collectively, we were like, you know what? We can do this. Like it's a team effort. Like just because 2 people went down, we can't just be sulking over it. Like we need to push through. And I feel like that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you at the beginning of the season, actually the regular season opener, the renaming of the field to Brenda Canal Field. That was a very, said special moment, having alumni back there, just, the community, parents, I mean, just everybody together for that day. Just soaking that in, what did that mean to you? I mean, just to be a part of that.
That was honestly like, I feel it was like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm so glad that I was there to be there and to be on like a team, especially when she did so much for women's sports, especially at River Dell, making sure that we would get equal everything. So that was amazing to see. And like hearing from all like her players and hearing how great of a person she was, and just like seeing her, getting to meet her and interacting with her was really like, it was really fun to like see and to experience. And at the end of like the game, as like everybody's like taking all their pictures with like Brenda, they're taking pictures on the field, I'm like walking off so I can go like put tarps on the field. And one of the catchers from way back when in Riverdale history, she stopped me. She goes, "Are you the catcher?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Great work behind there today. Like you're doing an amazing job." Like, and I was like, "Oh my God." Like it was surreal to me because I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, nobody's ever told me anything like that. I've never gotten a compliment for catching a game. Like, because normally all the pitchers get all like the fame, which they deserve. But it was like, oh my God. It was like one of those things. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, no, it definitely stops in your tracks. But the fact that you're part of a legacy, a history in terms of Riverdale said, softball, and the fact that, your name will be synonymous, said when, people look back, and that I'm sure that again is just for you, is a bucket list item. Hey, let's talk about head coach Brian Calabrese, assistant coaches Cindy Talty and Richard Ponte, just in terms of from Coach Calvary, just his leadership, what he brings to the table, and for you and the rest of the team. Just talk about what he's meant in terms of your progress and your development here.
I have a lot to thank Coach Calabrese for. My freshman year, like, he was all about getting me ready to start catching for a varsity team, for varsity pitchers, and for everything. So he was like the first person to set me up with like a real catching coach, which I'm forever grateful for. I love my catching instructor. I love Fran. He's honestly one of like the best catching coaches I've ever been to in my life. So I have a lot to thank for him for that. And like, he would tell me things to work on, so like I would get better like in my off season, so that when I came in I was nice and prepared, which was great. Because like having a like when a coach sees what you need to work on and he tells you what you need to work on, it means that he does care about you as a player. He does care about all of us as players, which really does help as a program.
Yeah. Well, again, that's spectacular, to have that. I mean, to work on your skills and fundamentals, to keep them sharp. Okay. Putting that number 21, Riverdale, it said jersey on that Golden Hawks, it said uniform. What is that represented to you, personally? Bella, sorry.
No, it's okay. Putting it on, it's like once you put it on, you're like, oh, it's game time. Like, I'm ready to go. Yeah. And for me, like, I would put on my stuff, I'd put on all my pants, and I'd always forget my belt. So then I would have to ask my dad to come bring me my belt. So normally putting on the jersey meant that I was gonna have to call up my dad to bring me my belt to the high school. But no, it's the greatest feeling ever, putting on that 21 jersey all the time. And being able to be around girls that I love to be around and that I've been playing with ever since I was who knows how old. It's an amazing feeling to have, because they're like your sisters at that point.
Yeah. It just playing home games at River Dell High School, taking that field, but also on the opposite side, with those road games, those bus trips, again, I ask people behind the scenes moments. People don't see that, building that team chemistry and that bond up. Just talk about, I said both, I said sides as well there.
Yeah. Being on the bus is always a fun experience. You never know what's gonna happen on the bus. Like, we have some snack bags, we have a party rocker with lights that's going up on the top of the bus. Like, it's just a fun atmosphere. And we're not like any other team. Like, we don't play hype music. Sometimes we'll play like Adele on the way to a game, which makes no sense. But that's just us, because and then, of course, like, everybody makes snack bags. We have like our little rotation or whatever. There'll be snack bags thrown up and down the bus. So it's really a fun time. You never know what's going to happen on the bus.
Yeah, no, that's it's great to hear. All right, let's talk about Riverdale High School itself, Bella. The support from the student body, the administration, athletics. I mean, you have Director of Athletics Dennis Nelson, Principal Brian Pepe, Superintendent Patrick Fletcher. It said one of the best, in terms of administration, athletic departments you'll find in Bergen County and North Jersey. Talk about what they've, meant to you.
They mean a lot, because every time, like, I'm warming up Gabi on the side, I'll see him walk over with like the little score box so he can like put it on the thing for the game. And every time I see him, I'm always like, hi, like, how are you, whatever. And he's always like, good luck, girls. Like, you can really tell that he does care. And like, he does sit and he talks with us for a while, and it's always a great time. It's always a good conversation.
That's great. I've asked everybody, about this, and two towns, of course, merging into one, Riverdale. With Oradell and River Edge. I just had to ask you, which town you're from, Bella?
I'm from River Edge.
Okay, River Edge. So talk about 3 schools on the River Edge side, and then you had, of course, I'm talking about, elementary and then going to middle school, and then of course Oradell Public in Oradell. Just talk about, making that transition from middle school to high school, and then having everybody converge, but everybody has been able to, mesh together, coexist, and you just see again, I mean, how people are just, it's just that togetherness. So talk about how special that is, for this school.
Yeah. So going into middle school, it was a hard it was kind of a hard transition for me because I'm very like, I'm like close knit with all my friends. Like
Yeah.
so going into middle school, it was very weird branching out, but it
Hmm.
also wasn't because I was playing sports with these girls, whether it came down to travel, rec. I was playing sports either with them or against them.
Yeah.
So honestly, making that transition, it really wasn't that bad because everybody kind of already knew each other. And
Hmm.
especially with like our class, we're very big into athletics. So like everybody from everywhere. So going into middle school and making that transition to high school, it was easier because everybody knew each other, everybody was playing sports with each other, and everybody was conversing on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
it really did help a lot.
No, yeah, no, that's that's magnificent. Okay, let's talk about the game of softball. What for you? You've been playing for a long time. What makes it so special? What are some of the the intangibles? Just some of the things, whether it's a practice, whether it's a game, as you said, those bus trips. What just something the things that stand out to you that you definitely have that passion, you have that drive, to play the game every single year. But just for you, Bella, what again? What's just what makes it, again, I said the sport just really stand out to you.
It stands out to me because my family, like my grandpa was very much a baseball man. All he would watch was baseball. Any type of sport would be on the TV.
Yeah.
Anytime I'd go to his house, he'd be watching the Yankees. You know, we would all sit down. We would watch the Yankees classics if they would get rained out.
Hmm.
So it's such an important sport to me because not only did he install that love for baseball for my dad and my brother, but he installed it for me. So yeah, I'm getting a little bit teary eyed.
Oh, no, no, no. You know what? You're, it said displaying that, it said authenticity and being, genuine. I love that about, that Bella. So that, uh, just in terms of the support from the student section, feeding off that energy, especially at home games. We talked about River Dell High School. Well, what does that mean to have the parents, to have the, students, come out, support you guys? I'm sure that really you feed off that gives you an extra boost, adrenaline rush when you're playing at home, and even when you're away as well.
Oh, I love it. I love seeing my dad on the third base side, recording me, kicking his feet every time I'm doing something stupid, just having their support and him sitting next to Miss Campos and Miss Basil, my mom being all the way in the back with Ken Krauthorn. It's always a great experience to see
Yeah,
all like your family and basically my extended family because, I've been playing with them for who knows how long.
yeah,
Like it's always fun to, you know, see everybody. And then the best feeling is when people stop and watch us play after like a
yeah.
track practice or after whatever the heck's going on at the field. Like it's always fun to see like people like watching you and like just sitting there till the end of the game. It's always a fun time. And then being like, oh, like you guys did great. And it's always like, thanks. It's always a good feeling to have.
Yeah, I think I thought that I said the athletic, complex at Riverdale High School amongst the best. Again, I think to have everything so, I said close by, and the fact that you have support from the other teams as well, the other sports. I'm sure that again, just adds another layer, said in terms of that support for you guys. And I just have a couple more left, Bella. I wanted to ask you, just in terms of being a student athlete. It's so important because everybody, athletics is important, but being a student as well. How have you been able to, balance that out in terms of time management, organization? It's important, I'm sure, of course, heading into your senior year. Just talk about that as well.
Yeah. So being a student athlete, it is like it's very hard sometimes because like you're doing practice and then you have to go here and then you got to do that and then it's like, oh, it's 9 o'clock at night and I have to do my homework, which
Yeah.
sucks. But like every now and then when I have time during classes, I'll just be doing homework or whatever. Anytime you get free time, always get something done because
Yeah.
you never know. And also my mom harps on me a lot about grades, getting stuff in on time. So honestly, she's my time management. If I'm being completely honest, she's my time
Yeah.
management. But
Yeah.
I try and make sure that I get everything done. So I don't have the time management, harping on me 24/7.
Well said. Hey, now, you talked about your parents, your grandpa, you have your brother. I don't know if you have any other siblings. Just talk about what they've meant in terms of your academic and athletic journey here. As I said, I'm sure that's really, again, so critical for you in terms of having that backbone support. Just describe that.
Yeah, having the support of my parents means the world to me. Like my dad, we're driving all over God's creation just to get me to a softball game, to a softball practice, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, and I enjoy it. Like the car rides are always fun, whether we're getting Dunkin' Donuts or whether we're sitting in silence on the way home because we're stuck in traffic in Connecticut. But it's always fun. And then my mom, she's making sure that I'm doing what I have to do. She's kind of like the balance in our family. My dad, he does
Mhm.
the sports, my mom does the academics. And then my brother, my biggest supporter, I love him so much. Even though he's up in Vermont, he does make time. And my dad sends him the videos of whatever, and he sends me, "Oh, great job today," whatever. And it's always
Yeah.
it's always a great feeling to have the support of both of my parents and my brother, even though
That's
he's 4 hours away.
Yeah, no, that's great. The fact that I give you a lot of credit that you've been playing softball even here in the summer. You talked about said travel ball showcases, just to keep that going. Because again, I mean, you have to softball season is next year, but you're still continuously training, playing in games. Talk about how important that. I mean, that is for you. Again, we talked about the skills and fundamentals, but just, I mean, how exciting that is for you personally, Bella.
Yeah, my summer's been crazy. So in June, we were doing all of our tournaments, showcases, whatever, and
Yeah.
just like getting seen by coaches and everything. And then when it came down to August, it was like doing all my showcase camps so that I could be seen by all these coaches and
Mhm.
seeing which play and touring schools too in August, which was
Yeah.
very overwhelming at the time. But touring all the
Mhm.
schools, seeing which place I felt at home at, and and then once like end of August came around, like especially now, I feel like everything's just going by so quick, and
Yeah.
I don't want anything to go by any quicker because then if it
Yeah.
does, then I'm already in college at that point.
Yeah.
So it's just been crazy, and especially going to practices. Like we're starting up practices again because we
Yeah.
start going. I think we're going to Connecticut in September the 10th.
Okay.
So getting practices in, getting BP in, getting everything in now is like
Yeah.
very important. So every now and then I'll go outside and I'll set up my tee and I'll set up my bow net, just
Yeah.
hitting balls whenever I can.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that you continuously, it's a 24/7, 365. I don't think you really take a day off. I said again, if you want to be at the best, and excel, in terms of the sport. Hey, I think you're in a great position, Bella, in terms you see with the pipeline in terms of where kids start out in terms of playing travel, rec, um, town leagues and then moving up the chain, eventually ending up at River Dell High School. So I'm wondering for what your advice would be to the younger kids and athletes, especially, girls who are playing softball, young girls. What would you say to them in terms of trying to succeed in this sport?
Honestly, just don't give up, especially playing softball. It's very much a mental game. You are going to fail more than you're going to succeed. So just staying with it. Like for me, I'm going to be completely honest. I thought that I was going to be the next basketball star. Like I was playing club basketball, and then all of a sudden I was playing softball one day and I was just like, "You know what?" Because like I wasn't the greatest. I was not. I would strike out. I I was catching, I would strike out. I'd be like, "I can't do
Yeah.
this anymore." So I quit for 1 year. And I think that was like a really bad decision on my part because we did win a championship when I left, and I was like, that's probably
Okay.
because I left. But um when I came back, it really did click for me then. So like whatever you're doing, whether you need to take a step back or you need to take a step forward, do it. Listen to yourself. And when you have the support of your family, it just makes it even better because if they're supporting you, that means that they trust you and that they know that you're going to do your best and you're going to do great things.
Yeah. No, sounded right. And that's what I was gonna. One of my questions was gonna be that when you made that pivot towards softball, like you said you played basketball, and I was wondering like when you really said, okay, you know what, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to play softball for the rest of my life. I'm just wondering, when you made that, when that moment, occurred for you, Bella.
It occurred like I think like my 6th grade year. So
Okay.
like after 6th grade, that's when I was like, Dad, I think I might want to join some club softball. And he was all in. He was like, oh my God. He's like, I'm going to start looking at programs. So I started with Lady Ravens when I was like 12U, 14U. And then I
Hmm.
made my transition to Vipers, which was honestly the greatest decision of my life, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm really grateful for Grace Basil. She was the one who harped on me. She was like, you need to come to this tryout. Like, I think that you're going to be really good on
Yeah.
our team. Like, and so that's where I've been for the last couple of years, and I love it there.
That's great. I mean, just to have a teammate, said on the, the Vipers, that must be, it said terrific as well. I before you get the final word and message, and I before we came on the air, I said I loved your background. So I see the be happy, I said in the background. I'm just wondering about that, just having that up there, just looking at that every day. I had to ask you about that, Bella.
Yeah, no, my mom got me this sign, I think, at
Okay.
like so I see it every day, and I'm like, you know what? You can't waste any day. You got to be happy every day. And what's the
Yeah.
point in holding grudges? There's really not. Like, always just be happy. Do what you love. Do what makes you happy. So be happy.
It's great. All right, Bella, you get the final word and message here for family, friends, teammates. River Dell High School, the towns of Oradell and River Edge, of course, the administration athletic department at River Dell High School, and soon to be your new home, Georgian Court University in Lakewood, New Jersey. The floor is yours, Bella.
Um, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's helped me along the way. And I want to say thanks to my parents, my brothers, all my coaches, especially them, for pushing me. And I'm very excited to see what the future has to come for my college career and for both my senior year, too.
Well said. Hey, just incredible honor and privilege being able to speak with you, Bella. Congratulations on your success. More to come, as said, here in your senior year at Riverdale High School, and then eventually Georgian, say Court University.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having me.
Thank you.